What's up, everybody? KB Shot Review coming back at you today. I want to talk to you today about buying your first home defense gun. Okay? And in particular, a shotgun. So, a few years ago, me and my wife bought our house. We decided we wanted a gun for protection. I live in the great state of New York, so I didn't have my handgun permit at the time, so I could not get a handgun. And with all the restrictions on rifles, I was not about to buy an AR style platform with all the magazine restrictions and everything else like that. So that left me with a shotgun. I went to my local gun store, said, I'm looking for a gun for home defense. They recommended a shotgun. They said, "Hey, look at this shotgun. It's on sale. It's got all these accessories. It's brand new. It's got, an extra stock. It's got an extra barrel. It's got this, that, and the other thing, blah, blah, blah. It comes in a case, hard case." And I was like, well, is this a good gun? Me not doing any research before going, oh yeah, good gun, blah, blah, blah. It wasn't. It was Black Aces Tactical, and I'm sorry if anybody, you guys love Black Aces out there. It was a dumpster gun, man. It worked a little bit, but it hated ammo. It just didn't want to fire a lot of light strikes, it just did not, any kind of ammo I put in it was not very good. I ended up selling it and ended up getting a Mossberg 590, and I've had zero issues with it. So that was my story on how I got a shotgun for home defense. So my recommendations to you is, number one, if you've never shot a shotgun, go out there, rent one, find a friend who has one, and go shooting with them. There's some things about a shotgun that can be very unpleasant, right? So the recoil, number one, can be very unpleasant if you don't know how to mitigate it well, or if you're small framed or anything. Like it can just beat you up. Loading a shotgun can be difficult at times. The other manipulations to get the gun up and running is another thing that isn't as easy as you think it would be. Before you go out there and you go out and buy a shotgun, do some research on the brands. I should have just went with a Mossberg to begin with. I could have bought one either used or whatever if I didn't want to spend that much money. But in all reality, I think it was like $150 difference between the hunk of junk I bought and the Mossberg I have now. So $150 really isn't that much money to get quality of something. So do your research on brands. Every brand has its little quirk, has a little thing, right? So like a Mossberg has, this is where the safety is. And I like that because it's right where my eyesight is, right? Oh, my safety's on. Okay, my safety's off. As opposed to having it down here and which way does it go? I don't really remember. That's just one thing I enjoy about them. And they're well made, but if you like a different brand for whatever reason, go for it. It's a good brand. Right now you have to you bought your gun, now you have to pick out ammo to put through it. Typically there's slugs, buckshot, and birdshot. Slug is good for distance, big game, but it's a big bullet that's going to go through a lot of things before it decides it's going to stop. Birdshot is little pellets made to hit birds and not completely destroy them. Again, may have stopping power, but it's probably going to hurt more than it's going to stop. And then you have buckshot, which is 8 or 9 pellets that are about the size of a 9mm coming down range. I'm pretty sure that's going to stop most things you're going to need for home defense. But with all these things, you really have to consider over penetration and where that bullet's going, of course, right? I know in my house, depending on the time of day, depending on where my family is whether I'm grabbing my handgun or I'm grabbing my shotgun. And that's just how it is. But that's something you have to do with your own home and your own comfortability of things. You bought your ammo, now you bring it home, where are you gonna put it, right? How are you securing this thing, right? You're just gonna leave it against the wall, you're gonna hang it on a rack above the fireplace, or you're gonna put it in a safe. Mine go in a safe. I have young children now, and just to keep it more secure like that. I also keep it loaded where I don't have one in the chamber, right? If you're gonna just leave it against the wall or whatever, shotguns are not drop safe. So if they do fall, sometimes the firing pin will shoot forward and a round will go off. So these are things you have to consider before you just keep it fully loaded and put it next to your bed, and you come in one night, kick it, and blow a hole in your wall, which is probably the best scenario in that case. Safes are great, but they're slow. So again, you gotta find what you're comfortable with and what you're willing to. There's pros and cons to everything, so you have to find out, would you rather have it out in the open, ready to go, and quick access, or maybe it takes you a minute to get to your safe, open it, and rack the gun. It's up to you. Accessories, right? You can buy just a straight shotgun and it's perfectly fine, and it's going to run really well. I put some accessories on my 590 here, right? So this is a Streamlight grip. Is a TL racker. Has a light on it, right? Which I like because I don't have a light hanging off one side or the other. The light is exactly where I'm going to be shooting, and it's coming from right under here. And I can have it on or off, no big deal. I bought this little heat shield thing. I like this a lot because when I go to the range and I shoot a whole bunch of rounds, my hand doesn't get burned on the barrel here. Coming back, you have the Velcro. You can buy these shotgun caddies off Amazon, very cheap, and they work really well. And when they stop working, you throw them out and buy cheap ones again. And the nice thing is that, I'm done with this round, boom, I can slap another one right on. As opposed to one that you mount that doesn't give you that quick detach, reattach capability. Changed out the stock. I have this Magpul stock. It's a little bit more comfortable. It gets you a little bit lower on the gun, and this padding is very nice. And then I have a sling, which is also a Magpul sling. Okay. Another thing I bought were these shotgun dummy shells. Right, this is plastic, very light, very cheap. These are a little bit more expensive, but they're metal and have about the same weight of a shotgun shell. Because one of the hardest things about having a shotgun is loading it, right? Typically, they say you're fighting with what's in or on your gun, and taking the time to reload, that's where these things lack. They have great stopping power. They have great firepower for what they're shooting down range, right? Like I said, 8 or 9mm pellets in one shot. But to reload this gun, it takes, even a really good person, it takes a minute. So just have that in the back of your mind too. And at the end of the day, you just gotta get out there and you gotta practice with it, right? The shooting is a very use it or lose it type of skill, right? You either get out there and you keep practicing and you keep up with it, or it deteriorates and diminishes rather quickly. So you gotta get out there, you gotta, practice loading these things, with these dummy rounds. You gotta practice shooting, go to the range, fire, a couple boxes, every few months. just to keep up with it. Because in the middle of the night, when you hear that bump or whatever, you don't want to be fumbling around. So if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please let me know. I hope you liked it, so please like and subscribe to the video, and see you next time.